Okay guys, we're going to talk about multiplying decimals. Multiplying decimals could not be any easier than it is. It is just super easy. It's super easy to understand, and I want to make sure that everybody understands what we're talking about here. So in order to multiply decimals, first thing you want to do is multiply like you would with any other whole number. Okay, meaning just ignore the decimals and go ahead and multiply. Then, once you're finished multiplying and you get your answer, your product, you place the decimal point in the product. And the number of decimal places in the product is equal to the sum of the number of decimal places in the factors, meaning the two numbers that you multiplied together. So I have two examples that I want to show you so you can see exactly how this works. So our first example, I have Delia, and she bought 3.8 pounds of peppers, and the peppers cost $1.99 per pound. What was the total cost of Delia's peppers? Well, we can multiply this and find out. So I set up my problem. I include my decimals so I can see. But I don't line them up. Only time you're going to line up is addition and subtraction. But here I always like to put the number with the most places occupied, I guess, in the top, and the one with the fewest places, or just the one with the smallest number set on the bottom. So here we go. We just multiply. 8 times 9 is 72. Carry the 7. 8 times 9 is 72. Plus 7 is 79. Carry the 7. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 7 is 15. Now I'm multiplying by the 3. I want to add a 0 here because it's not really 3, it's 30. So 3 times 9 is 27. Carry the 2. 3 times 9 is 27. Plus 2 is 29. Put that 2 there. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 2 is 5. Alright, so there's my answer. I just need to add them together. 2 plus 0 rather is 2. 9 plus 7 is 16. Carry the 1. 9, 10 plus 5 is 15. And then 5, 6, 7. Alright, so that is my answer. But wait a minute now. We're talking about what was the total cost of Delia's peppers. So, well, first of all, let's talk about this. Let's actually put our decimal point in our answers. We haven't done that yet. So what you do is you count the number of decimal places. I always like to start at the decimal and just count to the right. In that particular problem, that factor, I have one decimal place. If I go to this factor, I count and I have 2 places. I go all the way to the right. Alright, now I add these two numbers together. My answer is going to have 3 decimal places. So I start at the rightmost part of the number and I count to the left. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So my answer is 7 and 562 thousandths. But because we're talking about money, because we're talking about cost, we can't have it in with 3 decimal places. So we have to round off and come to the smallest number here. So my answer is going to be with 2 decimal places. So I have to look at this this place value right here, and that's going to determine whether the 6 stays 6 or rounds up to 7. Okay, because this is a 2, 6 is going to stay the same. So Delia paid $7.56 for her peppers. Alright, next question. Blades of grass grow at a rate of 3.75 inches per month. If the grass continues to grow at this rate, how much will the grass grow in 6.25 months? Alright, so it's growing this much per month and it's going to grow for this long. How can I figure out how long the grass grows? So I need to multiply these two numbers together. Because multiplication is commutative, it doesn't matter which one I put where, as far as on top or not on top. So I set the number up. They have the same number of places. I got 3 in each one, so I usually go with the smaller number on the bottom. Doesn't really matter, whatever you want to do. But I start with the rightmost number, and I say 5 times 5 is 25. And then I carry my 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12, and I carry the 1. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 1 is 31. I add a 0 because now I'm multiplying by the 7, but it's not really 7, it's 70, so I just add a 0 to the end. 7 times 5 is 35. Carry the 3. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3 is 17. Carry the 1. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 1 is 43. Alright, there we go. Now I'm going to start multiplying by this 3, which I'm going to have to add 2 zeros to. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And then 3 times 6 is 18. 18. There we go. Now I can go about my business of adding. Once again, I start at the far right, add up all my columns. 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 5 plus 0 is 7. 1 plus 7 plus 5 is going to be 13. 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 7, that's 14. Carry the 1, 12, 13. Carry the 1, and I wind up with 2. But where do we put our decimal place? So we go back to what we were talking about before. We count the number of decimal places in each one of our factors and add them together, and that's how many decimal places we have in our answer. So I start at the decimal and I count 1, 2. So that factor has 2 decimal places. Then I count this one. 1, 2. That factor has 2 decimal places. So I add them up. What do you think I get? I get 4. That means my answer is going to have 4 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there is my answer. So in relation to the question, how much will the grass grow in 6.25 or 6 1/4 months? It will grow 23 and 4,375 10,000ths of an inch. And those are my 2 examples.